Hey sis, welcome back to the Go For It Sis podcast. I'm your host, Meshele Hardy, and listen, today's episode just might be what your spirit has been waiting for. We have said that we are in lock-in season, and this is the season where we are supposed to be getting focused, getting clear, getting committed to the assignment that God has given you. But for so many of us, I know that this season can be a little overwhelming and it can feel very, very different from what it is intended to be. Like, even though it is lock in season, you might actually feel locked out. Let me let you know that one, you are not by yourself, but two, I have some tools and tips that I want to leave you with today so that you feel more equipped to continue in your lock-in season. And what do I mean by feeling locked out? You may feel locked out of opportunities. You may feel locked out of clarity. You may even feel locked out of a particular rhythm. Maybe you're even locked out of the version of yourself that you believe that you should be, right? All of these things are areas that we may feel disconnected from even in this season. But I want to share the revelation that God gave me a couple of days ago, and I need you to listen in closely and really hear this, because when he gave it to me, I said, God, I needed this, and I'm sure my sisters will need it too. So here it is. God said, nothing that you've overcome was designed for you to overcome it. I'm going to say it again. Nothing that you've overcome was designed for you to overcome it. So think about those battles. Think about those habits. Think about any boundary that you've ever experienced. They were meant to be obstructions. They were meant to be permanent fixtures of resistance. Okay? And there are systems that are designed so that you don't cross over to the other side. But since you overcame anyway, and it's not by your own strength, I hope you understand that, right? We know that the Bible tells us in Revelation 12 and 11 that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And as we tell our testimony, I have said this many times, it is what grants us access to be able to overcome certain things. This means that whatever it is that you have conquered, whatever it is that you thought was impossible, it becomes possible, and you are living proof of that kind of power. So I want you to rest in that. Please hear me. Nothing that you have overcome you were designed to, but you have overcome it anyway because of the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony. Now, sis, take a second and think about what that means to you. What have you overcome that should have kept you out? Like, I know for me, after the things that I've experienced in my life, peace of mind should have been something that should have, I shouldn't necessarily experience because of the things that I walked through. Right? Having peace in my mind, having peace in my heart. The enemy did not want that for me. And the obstacles that I faced in my life, the testimony that I have, substantiates that. But I thank God that that is not my story and it's not my testimony. So if God could cause us to overcome things that we were not designed to overcome, why is it that we still feel locked out during lock-in season? Can we talk about it a little bit? Okay. I personally believe that the reason why we still feel locked out is because we are allowing certain things to keep us from experiencing victory in this season. And so I got 5 keys to stay victorious in lock in season, and things that we should be aware of, conscious of, and mindful of as we are in this season. The first one is, girl, you got to revisit the proof. I say it all the time. Check your receipts, baby. What do the receipts say? You have got to remind yourself of what God has already brought you over. That was not luck. That was evidence. Okay. That did not happen by happenstance. That was truly the evidence that God was trying to show you, give you, to let you know that you can be victorious even in the things that you did not believe that you could be victorious in. And when you rehearse your evidence, you strengthen your endurance. Rehearsing your evidence reminds you that you can sustain this season, that you can continue to walk over, cross over, and overcome, that you can endure even in this season. You may want to take out your journal and write down some things that you have overcome that have kept you, that should have kept you out, because you need to see it on paper and be able to remind yourself of the things that you have overcome. So number 1, baby, revisit the proof, check the receipts. Number 2, don't romanticize resistance. What do I mean by that? Some of us have made resistance or struggle a part of our identity. We have fallen in love with the resistance, the struggle. We've gotten so used to struggling that peace in that particular area almost seems foreign. Like it seems strange to operate in peace in that season, in that place. But that's because we've gotten too comfortable. We've gotten too familiar with the struggle. And I need to remind you that that was never meant to be a permanent fixture. That was never meant to be your residence. Baby, we were not sitting here to struggle. As a matter of fact, you read Genesis, our purpose for being on this earth was to have dominion, not to be in struggle, right? So that resistance should not be our identity. It should not be connected to our identity, and it should not be our residence. And baby, sometimes you just got to tell yourself, you know what? I don't live there no more. Okay? I do not live there anymore. Break up with that scenario. Break up with that story of struggle and start to reverse some of the language around what you've experienced. And even by doing that, even by rehearsing your victory story, can allow you to break up with the struggle story, right? You've got to change your language in that area and break up with that struggle. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, watch the locks that you create. We said we were in lock-in season, and sometimes we feel locked out. Well, you got to ask yourself, did I create this lockout? Did I do this to myself? Sometimes it's not the enemy that is keeping us out. It's us. It's our fears. It's our doubt. It's our procrastination. Come on, somebody. It is our lack of discipline that will keep us out. Our lack of consistency that can keep us out. And those are internal padlocks. Those are things that we actually have the keys to, but we are refusing to use. And the question is, are you waiting on God to open a door that He already gave you the key to? You've got to think about that. Ask yourself, am I waiting on God? Am I praying for something that I want God to do that He's already granted access to? We've got to be careful that we are not the, we're not holding ourselves back, creating obstacles with things that we can control, like our time, like our discipline, like our consistency, like how we spend our money, like who and how we spend our time, like the things that we decide to consume. All of those things can be locks that we create and that we ultimately have control over. So, number 3, watch the locks you create. Okay. Number 4, reclaim your keys. Okay. Reclaim your keys. The blood of the Lamb gave us all authority, and your testimony gave you access, right? Revelations 12:11 tells us that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And every time that you speak what you have overcome, you pick up another key. That is the reason why I firmly believe, strongly believe, that you have to tell your story. You have to tell your testimony. And I'm not necessarily saying that you got to get online and do it like I did. You could write it down in your journal and get it out. Even you reading your testimony allows you to see what God has done in your life. You sharing your testimony with a loved one, a trusted person, it allows you to see what God has done in your life. And baby, by the time you finish telling it, I promise you, there will be a measure of shame, of guilt that will lift up off of you. I know it to be true because it happened to me. But I also know that the word tells us that we overcome by the word of our testimony. So there are things that don't happen, that we can't see, rather, that don't happen in the natural, but it happens in the spiritual. And there is a cloud that is lifted. There is a presence that is removed. There is, again, I call it shame, that gets dismantled when you tell your testimony. Okay, you got to be intentional about that thing. It's the thing that's going to free you. I promise you. So this is why I say the enemy fights us in this area. He fights your voice. He fights you to so that you could stay in shame, so that you could stay stuck, so that you could stay hindered. Because your testimony, it not only unlocks your freedom, but it unlocks the freedom of someone else. When you share your testimony, it allows other people to say, if God did it for her or him, I'm sure he could do it for me too, right? Share your testimony. You don't know who you will bless, how you will free somebody else, and or give them access to freedom simply by sharing your testimony. So go ahead and reclaim your keys. Take back your keys. Your voice is your key. Your testimony is your key. Take it back, and don't let the enemy have his way in that area. That's number 4. Number 5, and this is my final key, and it is to stay locked in. Stay locked in and not locked out. This is your season. This is your season. I'm going to say it again. This is your season. And you've got to honor the things that you said you wanted in this season. You've got to honor it and protect it. Protect your focus. Protect your consistency. Protect your discipline. Protect your mind. Protect your eyes. Protect your ears. Protect what you consume and what gets consumed. Protect, protect, protect. It is the only way that you can sustain yourself in this season. Lock in onto what God said to you before you even see results. Lock in. Don't look for the results. The results will come. But your focus needs to be on moving forward and pressing forward. I'm reminded of the 10 lepers who went to Jesus to get healed. And the Bible says, as they went, when Jesus, after speaking to Jesus, the Bible says, as they went, they were healed. They weren't even looking for the results. They were just being obedient. I'm impressing upon each and every one of us in this season, and I know it's challenging, but again, it's designed to be challenging. It's designed to be a boundary. But you gotta lock in. I'm giving you the keys today. Lock in. And as you go, the results will be inevitable. They are coming. And what you do in this season can set you up for the rest of your life. I'm believing God for some things concerning my life, concerning my livelihood, concerning my family, that I'm sowing into in this season. I don't even know what the next season looks like and holds, but I know that there is promise over there, and I know that there is purpose right here and there. And so I'm locked in, and I hope that you are locked in too. I hope that you take this time and this season to honor what you have said you wanted for yourself, to honor the promise that God has made to you, to honor the investment that God has made in you, and to truly keep going. Don't lose hope. And when you feel like you're losing hope, go back to your receipts, check and see what God has done. And remember that all of that what you see that God has done, it is not by happenstance, but it serves as evidence for what God can do. So even if you feel locked out right now, I want you to remember that the same God who brought you over then is bringing you over and higher now. I encourage you to stay focused. I encourage you to stay faithful. And most importantly, stay locked in. Okay? I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.